Hey, I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Sarina.
And you're listening to
Girl Next Door.
We're your favorite neighbors, bringing real talk, good vibes, and all the cozy feels right to your ears.
Whether we're talking life, love, family, or what just happened yesterday, we're keeping it honest and a little bit loud.
That's right. So get comfy because Girl Next Door has a lot to say. Okay, so I want to talk about seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And before we talk about seasons, I just want to say, because I think they're important. I feel like when we first met you all, me and Tony had two little kids.
Yeah.
You know, Taylor was a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Rihanna was a
toddler.
But she,
right?
No, she was like 4.
Oh, she was. Okay.
Yeah,
She was short.
Yeah. She was just short.
Yeah.
So we met you all in the early stages of parenthood for us. And now you're in your season of parenthood and the early stages at that.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're almost empty nesters in a couple of more years. But as I was thinking back to just the different seasons and how we played a role in those seasons, I just want to say thank you. Seriously, thank you. Because when I thought back, I'm just like, wow. Me and Tony were young adults. We had kids and we still yearned for community. And when I thought back, I'm like, Keith and Sarina just accepted us and our kids. Like, we would go over to their house. We would talk. We would watch movies. We would eat. We would laugh. We would encourage each other.
Talk about our businesses, dreams.
What was Keith's business?
Second Chance, his nonprofit.
Yes,
so we had nonprofit, playwright, singers, photographers. Yeah,
all
started one business.
That's what we should have did. It was a lot birth in the early stages of our friendship, and all of that was while we had 2 small kids. And I think back and I'm just like, wow, you all literally embraced all of us, everything that was attached to us, and you included us, and you didn't make us feel like we were an inconvenience to you because we had to bring the kids. And I'm just grateful for you riding that wave with me in that season of my life, because they could have looked at us as oh, they're a young couple, but they got kids, and we don't got time for that. Let's go over here because they single. I mean, they're married and they don't have kids.
Right.
We can relate to them, but they didn't. And you know, as a young mother, I mean, you yearn for community,
absolutely,
and to be included and not excluded because of the kids is a big deal. I know I'm rambling, but I just really wanted to say thank you.
Absolutely, you're welcome.
Yeah,
I feel weird saying you're welcome because it like never crossed my mind, right? I didn't realize that's what I was doing for you, and understandably so, because I wasn't in that season where you were, so I didn't understand the impact it was making. But now, like you said, being a mom of 3 and 3 little ones, I understand that now. And I know there's not many spaces beyond my family where I could do that, right? Because it's like, oh man, I got all these kids, and and still trying to maintain community as it relates to sisterhood is challenging. So I thank God for that. I thank God for that. I don't think I knew that's what was happening. But I think that's an important point for you all to consider that's watching, regardless of what season you are, whether you have the young kids or not. Like, consider the ones who have the young kids. And are we being flexible? Are we being gracious? Are we being understanding with the season they're in? Going back to what you said earlier, checking in and seeing what they need from you. Like, maybe this was the one that you did trips with. Some of us have friends where, okay, I do my trips with them. I take our girl trips and have our girl time, but now they have little kids. And so maybe what they need from you is not a girl. Well, when can the daddy watch the baby so we can go on a girl trip? That may not be what they need.
That could be added stress. That question in itself could be added stress.
Right. And so maybe they just need you to come and hang out at the house and not be bothered with the kids. We
were at their house last night, and I don't think I wasn't in on y'all conversation at all.
No,
me and Skylar had ourselves a time,
and I thank God for that, because that gave me a time. To be in community.
In community. Tony, Keith, and Sarina, they talked and they laughed. I chimed in when I could, but me and Skylar had our time and we had a great time. But I think it's important when it's okay, when you feel okay that, oh, my kids are here, and it doesn't take away from what we can experience together. Like, I think that's important. So
and I think that's like a red flag, right? Like when we talked about earlier, friendship versus sisterhood. So someone can be your friend, but when we cross over into sisterhood, like Tiffany said, this sacred space, and we have the same father, there is a different level of understanding. That comes naturally. And so a red flag would be they've kind of switched up a little bit. Because how can we help navigate these different seasons? Like when you don't would you say that, and maybe people could just struggle. I'm trying to be fair. Like I don't want you to write a friend off as like, well, I had a baby and then they stopped talking to me, because we were just talking about this. Maybe people don't know how to ask. So what were we saying about that?
We were saying that people may not know how to maybe transition with you. Some people are comfortable with how they met you, right? And when you change or you move into another season, they may not know how to accompany you in that season or be there for you in that season. Or it may not, and maybe they're selfish and they're not, because they're not getting from you what they used to get. It kind of makes them feel uncomfortable. Like, I don't know how to navigate. I don't know nothing about no kids. You know, that's not my language. And that in itself can kind of distance the relationship. But I think if that is the season that you're in, or that's your interpretation, like, I'm not understanding how to navigate through this season that you're in, maybe have that conversation.
Just have the conversation,
I think at the end of the day, it's all about communication. I think we will write people off, we will distance ourselves, and we have not had the proper communication and the proper conversations so that we know how to navigate it. Okay, well, maybe, let's see how we can adjust and make it work. Or maybe, hey, I realize that this isn't feeding neither one of us, and it's time to end the friendship or just go our separate ways until another season, presents itself, and that, we can come back together. But communication is key.
And I think you said something good though. Like, and the communication isn't just one-sided, right? So like, I may be the one without the kids, and so I may not understand the situation directly, but even the one with the kids probably needs to say something, right? Because one of the things you did was you didn't come to me in that season. I was telling Tiff, I don't even remember like if it was a thing that the kids bother me. But what I do remember is just in our everyday conversations, sometimes given certain situations, she would express this kind of heaviness of saying, hey, navigating life and experiences with young children is challenging. And I couldn't understand what she meant experientially, but I understood. I could just hear your heart. And as a sister, I just knew like, okay, this is serious, and like this matters to her. And I don't know if at the time, I can't say if I considered then like, hey, I'm never gonna put that pressure on her. It just was a natural flow. Like, I loved her and I enjoy your company, and so the kids come along with it. But in a way, you kind of expressed that. You didn't come to me and say, hey, this is what I need from you. But I heard your heart, and I discerned that this was valuable and was important to you. So, so we got to communicate.
You got to communicate.
You got to share.
And I think one thing you said was, because I didn't come to her, like she said, and say, Sarina, this is happening. It was just natural conversations, and it would kind of come out. But she heard me and she reacted without saying, oh, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. She just embraced me and the kids and gave me opportunity to like, just have girlfriend time. You know what I'm saying? Like, laugh and, oh, yeah, come over, bring the kids. We would have the kids on a little pallet. That's what my grandma used to say, make a pallet on the floor.
Still pallets today.
And we would be having ourselves a good time. And it was like not even a thought.
Right.
But it's almost like, I heard her heart. And then I just made sure I created space for her needs. And it was just beautiful. And again, I don't think we knew what was happening. It just organically happened. And looking back, it's just like, oh my goodness, that was such a great service that you extended towards me. It meant a lot. So
Praise the Lord.
Yeah.
So if you're listening and you're navigating your season and you feel like you need something, be encouraged that one,
Yeah.
it's okay
It's okay.
to say that even your needs have changed or you may be experiencing certain emotions as a result of your own season
Yeah.
changing, right? Because we have to
Yeah.
catch up with that. You even said it like, okay, Sarina went from 0 to 3 kids, like
Yeah.
real fast,
Yeah.
like in less than 8 years. And
Yeah.
so I'm still catching up with that. And I don't know if I've always done a good job of communicating what I need, but thank God I've had good friends that are
Yeah.
still just like
Yeah.
giving me what we need. We talked about that quality time earlier, that conversation. Just it normalizes
Yeah.
things for me. It's like, okay, this I don't have to deal with the kids. This is just me and my friend. We're having like laughs and I'm able to just share like the kids got on my nerves today
Yeah.
or this or Keith got on my nerves
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
This is what happened. But and that's investing in a relationship, but just be encouraged, and make sure you communicate. You're
Communicate.
gonna have to communicate, like, that's big girl stuff,
It's
right?
big girl and
This
it's
is your
big girl
sister.
stuff, and it feels uncomfortable. You may feel like, "Oh, this is not even a big deal. Oh, I don't want anybody to look at me or view me
Mhm.
as someone that's needy," or I mean, we can
Yeah.
talk ourselves out of so many conversations, but it's needed because it's important to you, and it's making you feel a way, and your feelings matter. They are valid.
Mhm.
If they were not, you wouldn't be feeling it.
Yeah.
So have the conversations and don't shy away from that because I feel like there is healing in communication. There is resolve in communication. We
Yeah.
if we only knew, oh my gosh, you feel that way? Girl, we can have mommy daughter time. We can you'll be surprised at the community that
Yeah.
increased community that could
Yeah.
be birthed when you
Yeah.
open up and share.
Right.
So yeah.
One of the things we were talking about, we kinda touched on earlier was this thing of love languages and,
Yeah.
what we need, and a episode before, we talked about ACEs,
Oh,
and so I'm thinking on all of that, right?
yeah.
And while we're encouraging you to communicate, keep in mind that just like you have a different love language, your friend has a different love language,
Yeah.
and then they're not always, or they shouldn't be just an ace. You need
Yeah.
a sisterhood. You need multiple.
Yeah.
One person can't be all things,
Yeah.
right? And so, um, communicating is one thing, but I think self-introspection on, do I have multiple people in my life to meet different needs is
Yeah.
important too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because if the season shifted and Tiffany wasn't there how I needed her, now I'm upset with Tiffany. It's
Yeah.
like, well, I communicated to Tiffany, this is what I need. Well, maybe it wasn't for Tiffany. Maybe you needed to open yourself up. And it's great you communicated it
Yeah.
with your main friend or whoever you talk to, but maybe you need to be open, and you brought this up an
Yeah.
episode before, be open enough to, explore other relationships
Yeah.
because you may build a relationship with someone who's in that season and they can understand, and I won't even say better, but they just
Yeah.
may be fitted for that season,
Season. Yeah.
and they may be able to meet that need. So, I don't know, I'm thinking about all of that, and I just thought it
Yeah.
was worth mentioning and
Yeah.
bringing up, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's important. At first, and we ain't saying go out and make friends with each
Yeah.
and everybody. Like
Yeah.
I don't believe in huge circles, but I
Right.
do believe that, as Sarina said, that different people feed different parts um of your life, right?
Mhm.
And I think it's important not to put all that pressure on one person, right?
Yeah.
Because as she said, seasons change, and when that person can't be there for you and the way that they were,
Right.
I mean, you feel a way. So I think it's important. But I didn't learn that until I became older. I literally thought, oh, one person
Mhm.
could
Yeah.
would suffice, right?
But we're
And
kinda conditioned that way, right?
yeah,
Everybody's like, "Oh, BFF." Like,
best
my
friend,
daughter is
best friend.
7, and y'all, she done discovered Shein, however you pronounce it.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
pronounces it different.
yeah,
But we know the Asian website where you can
yes.
get the stuff for cheap.
But
My
you
daughter has discovered it, and she's been looking up bracelets for her
and her
and one of
best
her
friend.
friends, and she's like,
How
"Oh, I want
cute.
this BFF, I want this BFF." And a part of me wanna be like, "Hey, you don't need a BFF, everybody's your friend,"
Yeah, yeah,
not everybody, but you know what I mean, but I feel like even at that young age, we're
yeah.
kinda conditioned
We
to
are.
just have that one friend.
Yeah, we
Yeah, I
are.
need a BFF, I need a
Yeah,
BFF, but like you said, that's
yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
Did I cut you off?
No, you didn't. You didn't cut
Okay,
me
I
off.
was like,
It was
I didn't know where we were going, but I just thought about that, and I'm
Yeah.
like, very early on, we start to embrace this ideal of there has to be this one solid person that
Yeah.
meets every single need in every season, and that's just
I mean, we
not
don't that don't
wise.
even happen in your marriage. Like,
Mhm.
your husband can't meet all of your needs. I
Yeah,
mean, we try, but
yeah,
there's a lot of learning, there's a lot of relearning, there's a lot of unlearning. You know
yeah,
what I'm
depending on the
saying?
season, what I needed
Depending on
in
the
one,
season,
yeah,
yeah, because I change. I'm
yeah,
constantly
yeah,
changing.
yeah,
So then he has to adjust and vice versa. I have
yeah.
to adjust to the changes that he made. So there, I mean, yeah,
Mm,
we constantly try to meet each other's needs, but these seasons take us through, moments where we have to adjust, right?
mm,
So if it happens in marriage, it definitely has to happen or will
mm.
happen in relationships. And
Yeah,
it's just a lot to put on one person.
it
I
is.
mean, God created husband and wife for that, but
Right.
sometimes for friendship, that
Yeah,
I
for
feel like
sisterhood.
that
Yeah, yeah,
that could
that's
be a
totally different.
bit too much, totally
Yeah.
different.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. I wanted to mention something that you just said. What were we just talking about? Yeah, this is what you call mom's brain right here,
yeah,
okay?
we were
When you
just
have
talking about.
3 little children, it is, honey, it is my brain is
No, I
fried.
know
Let me
mine is
remind you
too.
of the ages.
Hey,
7, 6, and 1. That is intense.
bless your heart.
But I wanted to touch on something that you said. Oh, okay. As far as investing in friends, you talked about. I wanted to say, you were saying like in a marriage, my needs change, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, I think that it's okay. Like how well do we deal with or not even how well, I won't even go there. We'll say that for a different episode, but it's important. You said earlier to check in. We have to check in because we don't even know if our friends, our sisters' needs have changed,
yeah,
just like in a marriage,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so if you're not communicating and investing, then what that friend needed when y'all met in year 1 and 2 may not be what they need in this year. You
Honey,
get what I'm saying?
I'm not laughing at the same jokes from year 1 now in year 10. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
in that same
Right,
place.
right.
I've
Have you ever
matured.
experienced that, right? I
Yes.
have with
I
people, and you're
oh
like,
my,
"Mm."
you still there?
Yeah, we're not there.
I've
Yeah,
transitioned to
right,
another level,
right,
another
right,
space,
right,
and you
right.
didn't even you didn't notice the transition?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
yeah,
So now I feel like I have to go back
yeah.
because I mean,
Or
I
they feel some
struggle.
kinda
Or
way
they
like, "Oh,
or
you
they
think you
feel,
better than or
yeah,
you ain't
and
the
it's
same." It's like, "No, we
no,
growing."
I decided to mature and grow.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
And take on this next level in my or next season in my life.
Yeah,
And you're still there. Yeah, that's been awkward for me. I've
yeah.
experienced that.
Okay, yeah,
How about you?
yeah.
I mean, I know you say you have, but how did you maneuver through that?